Attention passionate New York Giants fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on New York Giants' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true New York Giants fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and New York Giants fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been paying attention to the NFL's latest headlines, you already know that the landscape of the NFC East is shifting in a way that fans of the New York Giants should be watching very closely. And believe me, what's happening right now could profoundly influence the Giants' future, their draft plans, and even their playoff chances this season. It's not every day that you see a major injury to a franchise quarterback like Joe Burrow, especially one that could shake up the entire division. So, let's dive into this story, unpack what's happening, and analyze what it really means for the Giants and the rest of the NFL. First, to set the scene, the Cincinnati Bengals, a team that's been climbing back to respectability, had a surprisingly solid start this year. After a couple of rough seasons, they managed to escape Week 2 with a perfect 2-0 record. That's impressive, especially considering the hurdles they've faced. But then, disaster struck. Joe Burrow, their star quarterback, suffered a toe injury that now threatens to sideline him for at least 3 months. And for a team like Cincinnati, losing a QB of Burrow's caliber is no small matter. This isn't just a minor injury, it's a potential season-altering blow. Burrow, as we all know, is one of the top quarterbacks in the league. His ability to extend plays, his football IQ, and his leadership have made him a cornerstone of that franchise. Losing him, even temporarily, puts Cincinnati in a very precarious position. Their defense, which has been underwhelming at best, now faces the challenge of trying to keep the team afloat without his leadership and talent behind center. It's a tall order. But of course, the Bengals are not just sitting idle. They're actively looking for ways to patch things up and keep their season alive. And that's where the trade rumor mill really heats up. So, what's the latest? Well, reports suggest that the Bengals are eyeing a potential trade for a veteran quarterback to fill in during Burrow's absence. And surprisingly, one name that's been floated around as a prime candidate is Jameis Winston. Now, Winston, a former first overall pick, has long been known for his big arm and the ability to make spectacular throws. Last year, he threw for 497 yards and 4 touchdowns in a game against the Denver Broncos, setting a Cleveland Browns team record in the process. That kind of performance shows that Winston still has that explosive potential that made him a Heisman winner and a highly touted prospect coming out of Florida State. However, it's not all sunshine and roses when it comes to Jameis Winston. His career has been a roller coaster, full of ups and downs. Yes, he can light up a scoreboard with his deep throws, but he's also prone to turnovers. Last season, he threw 3 interceptions in that game against Denver, which ultimately contributed to the loss. That's the other side of Winston, a quarterback capable of single-handedly winning or losing a game. But for a team like Cincinnati, which needs someone to come in and produce immediately, Winston's skill set might just be what they're looking for. Now, let's talk about what the Bengals might be willing to give up. Rumors indicate that Cincinnati could acquire Winston by offering a 6th-round pick. That's a relatively low price for a quarterback with his talent and experience. For the Bengals, adding Winston could be a game-changer, especially if he can replicate some of his past performances. Imagine him behind that high-powered offense, with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins running routes. Those two form one of the most dangerous receiver duos in the NFL. Winston's big arm and ability to stretch defenses could help the Bengals put points on the board and keep pace in a league that's increasingly high-scoring. But, and here's the big caveat, the Giants are in a very different position. Right now, they're not exactly in a rush to trade Winston. Currently, he's listed as the emergency quarterback, behind starters like Russell Wilson and Jackson Dart. Both Wilson and Dart saw action in Week 2, which shows that the Giants are still figuring out their quarterback rotation. The original plan was for Wilson to be the starter for most, if not all, of the season. But, as with any NFL team, rumors are swirling that Wilson might be benched sooner rather than later. And if that happens, Winston's role could change dramatically. The interesting part is that Winston, despite being under contract for only 2 more seasons on a relatively cheap deal, is still seen as a valuable backup option. The Giants, after releasing Tommy DeVito, don't have many options at quarterback beyond Wilson and Dart. So even if Winston doesn't see much playing time this year, he's an asset in case of injuries, or if the team wants to develop Dart further. The Giants' front office might see Winston as a trade chip, especially if Cincinnati offers a 6th-round pick, an offer that the Giants could seriously consider, given their current rebuilding phase. Let's not forget that Winston's personality and leadership qualities bring a lot to the table. He's known for his positive attitude and his ability to motivate teammates. That kind of presence can be invaluable in a locker room, especially for a team like the Giants that's still trying to find its footing after a few tough seasons. But on the flip side, if Winston is traded, it's unlikely he'll see the field much this year unless there's an injury or a significant change in the quarterback situation. The Giants' plan seems to be to develop Dart and see if Wilson can hold the starting job, a process that might involve some turbulence, especially if Wilson's performance starts to falter. Now, thinking about the broader implications, if the Bengals do land Winston, they could benefit immensely. His ability to produce big plays and his experience in the league make him a worthwhile addition. The Bengals' offense, with Chase and Higgins, is already explosive, and Winston could help take them to the next level, especially if Cincinnati's defense continues to struggle. For the Giants, trading Winston could free up a roster spot and add a little more draft capital, which they desperately need to build for the future. It's a strategic move, balancing the present with an eye toward the future. Of course, the real question remains, will the Giants actually pull the trigger? It's a delicate situation. Winston's talent is evident, but his role in New York has been more of a backup and mentor. The team's management might prefer to hold on to him as insurance, especially with the uncertainty surrounding Wilson's performance and health. But if Cincinnati offers a 6th-round pick and Winston is eager for more playing time, the Giants might see the opportunity to cash in on a veteran who's proven he can be a game changer. Sometimes for better, sometimes for worse. Looking ahead, the NFL landscape is always shifting, and the division rivals are making moves that could shape the playoff picture. For the Giants, this potential trade represents more than just a roster change. It's a strategic decision about how they want to build their team moving forward. Do they want to keep Winston as a seasoned backup, or do they want to use him as a trade asset to bolster their draft picks and youth movement? Either way, it's an exciting time for Giants fans, because everything is on the table, and every move could have ripple effects across the NFC East. And of course, the big story here is how injuries like Burrow's can completely change the dynamics of a division. If Cincinnati struggles without Burrow, it could open the door for other teams, including the Giants, to climb the ranks and make a real push for the playoffs. But it also underscores how fragile NFL success can be. One injury can reshape seasons and alter long-term plans. The Giants, with their young core and talented roster, are watching these developments very closely, because a shift in the division could mean a chance to strike sooner than expected. So, in summary, what does all this mean for the Giants? Well, they're in a unique position right now. They have Winston, a talented veteran, who could be a valuable asset either as a backup or as a trade piece. The rumors of a potential 6th-round pick for him are floating around, and if that deal goes through, it could give the Giants some extra draft capital to continue building their roster. It's a classic example of how NFL teams are always balancing short-term needs with long-term strategies. The Giants have a lot to consider, developing their young quarterbacks, managing their cap space, and now, potentially, making a trade that could benefit them down the line. For fans like you and me, it's an exciting time because every game, every injury, every trade rumor adds a new layer to the story. The NFC East is more competitive than ever, and the Giants are right in the thick of it. Whether Winston stays in New York or moves on to Cincinnati, what's clear is that the NFL's drama never stops, and the Giants are right at the center of it all. So keep your eyes peeled, stay tuned for more updates, and remember, this season is shaping up to be one of the most unpredictable and thrilling in recent memory. The Giants are building something special, and every piece of news we get is another step toward their next big chapter. And now, New York Giants fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to US and TO, the New York Giants. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates. So stay tuned for the latest New York Giants news.